Hi, and welcome to a quick edition of the Weekend Warriors Workshop. Continuing on with the project of screen printing. And in this quick video, we're going to make a squeegee handle, a squeegee handle. Now, I don't have any of the rubber blade that goes in the squeegee, so I'm not going to be able to finish it off. But what I can do is take care of the woodworking part, making the handle. I'm not going to bother publishing the plan on this, because here's the plan right here. Standard squeegee handles, standard curvature, everything. So if you got one, you got your pattern. If you don't have one, get one, because they're not that expensive. As a matter of fact, this whole project is kind of ridiculous, but what the heck. I promised people we would do it once, so we're going to do it. So here's our pattern. I'm going to come around the other side of the camera so I can see what we're doing. Okay, you can see both sides of the handle have got a curvature to them. So we're going to cut that curvature on the table saw in a way that a table saw was never meant to be used. And then the part that holds the rubber blade, it is basically a center cut, 3 centimeters deep, 1 blade width or 1/8 of an inch wide, and then 8 millimeters wide, a little bit less than a centimeter, on the center, so 4 centimeters off of the center. So what I've done here, I've got a 1-inch piece of stock. The blade is about 1 inch thick. So a real live 1-inch piece of stock. If you go in and ask for a 1x6, they're going to give you a piece of stock that's 3/4 of an inch wide, or 3/4 of an inch thick, and about 5.5 inches wide. So you're not going to go in and ask for a 1-inch piece of stock unless you really mean I want it 1 inch thick, and you got to make that clear. I'm lucky enough I've got a thickness planer, so I can take thicker stock and bring it down to what I want, which is what I've done here. This is just a piece of 1x6 construction fir, 2x6 construction fir. That's something I would normally make a handle on. I'd probably want to use poplar or maple or some harder wood than fir, and something that doesn't tend to leak out sap like fir will when it heats up. But for a demo purpose, this is going to work. This is just a piece of scrap I have hanging around. So I'll get that out of our way. And now, as I mentioned, we're going to use the table saw in a way that it was never meant to do. We're going to be pushing our workpiece horizontally across the blade instead of with the blade. Doing that is kind of dangerous, especially if you're trying to take too deep of a cut. So we're going to follow 2 rules here. We're going to take very shallow cuts, no more than a 1/16 to 1/8 of an inch, and we're not going to force the stock. If it gets hung up, we're going to back off. We're going to take it nice and easy. Never in a hurry when working on a table saw like this. Now, what I've done is I've mounted a straight edge. This is just a piece of stock. What's that word? Plywood. There we go. A piece of stock plywood. And I've mounted it about 2.5 inches from the center of the spindle on the table saw. I'm using a 10-inch blade, so that'll work for me. 2.5 inches from the center of the spindle to the edge of the straight edge. As I raise the blade up, my center is always going to be in the same place, so as I take cuts, it's going to cut a little bit further toward the edge each time. So it's kind of important you set it up to do the job right. And I've marked a line on my table saw. I've made my own zero clearance plate for the blade, so I'm not going to have big gaps. It's not going to produce much downdraft. It's going to be a little bit safer. So let's just get on to it. Right now I've got it plunged all the way down, so it's right at surface level here. So I'm going to raise it up 1 turn. On this saw, that's a little bit less than 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to put on my safety gear. Oh, and we are going to use a wooden pusher. Now this pusher, it's just a piece of particle board. I put a handle on top of it and put a little kick down at the bottom. You can see that. That's going to catch the wood and push it through for me. So my hand doesn't have to be going directly over the blade at any time. I've got something in between me, the workpiece, and the blade. Okay, we can see that we've got a curvature cut. Nice and swooping in, so that'll be a good place for our hands to grip. Now what I want to do is make my groove and then cut my slot for the blade. So that's what's coming up next. So let me reconfigure here real quick. I want to pull this out of the way. I want to set up my fence and raise up my blade. I'll be right back. I'm back. I'm reset. My fence is set up to a 1/2 inch from the center of the blade. The blade height is at 3 centimeters. And if we take a real close look at that, you'll see that I've got a center mark, and on either side of that center mark, approximately 4 millimeters to the either side, is a mark for setting up the blade. So now I just have to make the cuts. First cut, 3 centimeter right down the center line. The next cut will be 2 centimeters on either edge. Glasses, ears. Okay, so here is the profile for the squeegee blade, or squeegee handle, I should say. Okay, now I'm going to take my router and I'm going to round over this corner, and I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back from the router. Now I've got a nice profile, nice rounded top, so it's easy to hold, to compare them. Here's the store-bought versus the one we just made. Let me get that where we can actually see it. There we go. Store-bought to the one we just made. Not exactly the same contour, but we have to remember the places that make the store-bought ones, they have a shaper, which is a machine that works in the horizontal that just cuts the perfect shape. We don't have a shaper here. We had a table saw. Yet I think we got close enough. It still feels real good in the hand. I don't see any problem with doing it this way. As for our fit, well, there we go. Squeegee blade fits nice and tight in there. I could either super glue it in like Jonathan at Catspit Production does, or I could shoot staples down into it like they've done at Speedball. So there we go. We're done with another project, and this one went fast. I got to spend a little bit of quality time with some sandpaper on this thing because it's a little bit rough. But other than that, I might just put some clear coat on it and actually use this at some point. I've got a lot of real good squeegee stuff. So that's it. Our project's done. Until next time, y'all keep up the good fight, and I'll see you later.